Hi there, this is Holly Mortimer, the Vice Principal at iSucceed, and I wanted for the high school, and I wanted to show you just quickly when we calculate attendance, how we use lessons to do that, because sometimes there's some confusion about this. And also, whenever a student, if you happen to get an absence and you don't think that you have an absence, you can always reach out to your advisor and they can check your lesson completion using the method that I'm about to show you. So, this is a grade book for my son from a couple years ago. Um, so when I go to check for attendance and lesson completion, this is how I do it. The course often will have numbers that help you see exactly what a lesson includes. So here you can see that that is lesson one. So all of those things have to be finished before lesson one is considered to be done. Now we skip, there's a little jump right there. Where's lesson two? What that tells me is that lesson two is just reading information. So it's not, you don't actually have to submit anything for lesson two. Then we look at lesson three, and it looks like these three things count for lesson three, but this checkpoint also counts for lesson four. So as soon as you did that, you would have lesson four done as well. So there's one lesson, two lessons, three lessons done. This is lesson five, all of this, and probably going into this checkpoint. So that's a good that's a good insight into how lessons are completed. And then the other thing that I'm looking at when I do that is when were they submitted. So let's say that the attendance period that we're looking at ends on August 21st, right here. So that was the time when attendance ends on a Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So let's just pretend that that's what that date is saying there. I'm going to clear the screen. So if here's the end of the attendance period and this student has emailed me and said, "Hey, I got 5 lessons done in forensic science." Then I'm going to go check for that. So I look and I go, "Yeah, there's lesson 1 done. Lesson 2 is done. Lesson 3 is done." But lesson 5 did not get finished because he went to here and then he did the next part the next week or the next day. So only really one, two, three lessons were completed and then part of another lesson. Now, if I was looking at this and these times over here are like 10 o'clock on Sunday night, 11 o'clock on Sunday night, 11:45 on Sunday night, those are not going to show up on the attendance report because that gets pulled very early Monday morning. And so something that's submitted late on Sunday night is not going to show up. So likely that you're going to get an absence if you did your work really late on Sunday night. And all you need to do in that situation is send a message to your advisor and say, "Hey, I think that I did what I was supposed to do, and can you take a look and have somebody can you take a look at that and then let Mrs. Mortimer know and she can correct my absence." So I'm happy to do that when you submit work really late at night, even as long as it's done before 11:59, we're going to count it, but the report doesn't see it because it's submitted so close to when the report is pulled. So we just can go in and make that correction. So anytime that you have a question about your attendance, like if you get an absence and you're like, "I don't think I actually was supposed to get an absence," you need to reach out to your advisor and have them check that for you. And then if there has been a mistake, I can remove that absence. And then the other thing that you can do as you work is just keep track of, you can open your grade book and say, "Okay, the attendance period is here." Just kind of keep, look at when the attendance period is and then count how many lessons that you did during that time. But remember that a lesson has different numbers of items, just depending on which lesson it is in the course. Hope that helps with keeping track of attendance. Reach out if you have any questions.